Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to remove the ska of a typical production katana. Now I know there's instruction out there showing how to remove the ska of a traditionally made Japanese sword or a nihanto, where you basically just grab the ska and you smack your hand or your wrist with your fist, and that pressure, that movement will eventually separate the ska from the nakago. If any of you have tried this on your typical production katana, you probably already know that you could smack your hand until it turns into pulp and that ska is not going to come loose. It's not carved as cleanly as well as on a traditionally made katana. It also has things like burrs in the holes of the nakago, which will grip the inside of the wood, prevent it from coming off. There is gook and rust sometimes in the metal fittings, and that will also provide more friction and prevent the ska from coming off as easily. So the method of smacking your hand works on most well-made katana, traditionally made katana, but rarely works on a typical production katana. So today I'm going to show you how to remove that ska on a stubborn production katana. First thing you want to do, of course, is remove the mekugi, which are the bamboo pins that help hold the ska in place. Most typical production katana will have two. Sometimes there's only one. If you only see one, look very carefully for a second one before trying to remove the ska, because sometimes it will be hidden under the ito wrap, and it could be hidden under both sides if it was put in on an awkward angle. So really give it a thorough check before you attempt to remove it. Mekugi are typically tapered. One end will be smaller than the other, and the small end is the end that gets inserted first when you're putting them in, and that's the end that you're going to knock out first, is the small end. So in the case where the mekugi have a tapered end, you want to look for the smaller end. In this case, I don't know if you could see, but this is the larger, wider end in the emote side, and this is the tapered end coming out of the uru side. So the tapered end is the one we want to put the tool against here. Couple of taps, take that out. Now, again, typically this second mekugi will be placed in the opposite direction as the first one, but double check that, look for the small end. In this case, the small end is on the emote side now. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that out. Now in some cases the mekugi will not be tapered on a production sword, in which case you might have to tap lightly on both sides to see which has more give, which direction it was put in. Sometimes it really doesn't matter because the mekugi is not tapered, and the hole for the mekugi and the ska and the nakago are also not tapered. It depends on the level of manufacture, level of quality. In this case, these are tapered. It was easy to tell one end from another. So now that both mekugi are out, we're going to hold the ska in one hand with your hand high up against the tsuba, and you're going to take a block of wood. I typically use a block of wood at least 3/4 of an inch thick. Gives good surface to hit it with the mallet. And in most cases, again, your habaki, your tsuba, your seppa, they're probably going to already be full of scratches. You really don't have to worry so much about a cheaper production katana scratching up the surfaces, especially with a soft piece of wood. If you are worried, and if your habaki is a high polish or everything is in good shape and you don't want any scratches, you can put a piece of leather or fabric on the block, like I've done here. Soft piece of suede is going to be what touches the surface of the habaki seppa. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this block and you're going to put it against the habaki, like so, and seat it down on the seppa. And you could see actually that it doesn't even touch the blade, the piece of wood here, if you're holding it correctly. So you want to make sure that's nice and centered with the blade against the habaki and down on the seppa. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold this in place with the thumb of the hand that's holding the ska. You're going to hold that nice and firmly in place. Now you're going to take a mallet. I use a rawhide mallet. You can use a rubber mallet. I would not recommend using a metal hammer or anything metal. You don't want to take a chance of hitting the blade, scratching the blade, putting a ding in it. The rawhide, even if it does touch the side of the blade, it won't really do any damage. Maybe a micro scratch, but the rawhide is incredibly soft compared to the hardened steel of the blade. So you're going to take your mallet and you're going to give a couple of taps on the edge of the wood. You're not even going close to the blade, but just on the corner there. And you should already feel a separation of the fittings and the ska happening. If it's stubborn, it's not coming loose, it's really smashed on there from the factory, it helps to alternate sides. Couple whacks on one side and then switch it over. Couple whacks on the other side. You might have to do this a couple times back and forth. Give it some even pressure. And eventually the fittings will become loose. You'll hear the seppa rattling. You'll feel the tsuba shifting on your fingers. So go ahead and give that a few good whacks. And you could see here that there is separation now. The tsuba and seppa are now moving. It means the nakago has come out of the ska a little bit. And at this point, what you want to do is put your hand on the ska and wedge it right up against the tsuba. And once that's in place, you're just going to squeeze your hand, make a fist, get pressure. And what that does is it pushes your hand up against the tsuba, and while gripping the ska, it's causing separation. It's pushing the tsuba up and holding the ska in place, therefore taking the nakago out of the ska, just like that. That's all you need. Go lightly at first when you're squeezing. I've done this where the tsuba, where the nakago is really in the ska, it's not budging, and if you put all your pressure in your hand and squeeze it right off the bat, you can actually strain your hand. It's very painful. I've done it a few times. Doesn't seem like you'd be in danger of hurting yourself, but you really can. Trust me. So what you want to do is you want to just go lightly, see if it's lifting at all with a little pressure. If it is, go ahead and put more pressure on it. If it's not, continue using the block, continue causing separation with the mallet and the block until you could then pop it up and squeeze it with your hand, just like that. And once that's done, you could easily lift this right out of the ska, no problem. So that's it. That's how to remove a stubborn ska from your production katana. Hope that helped. Thanks for watching.